Hi, I'm Ian Clifford, the founder of Matrix Freedom and the president of the Republic of Old Souls. And on this video, I'm going to explain to you why I am free notices and becoming a diplomat under the Republic of Old Souls gives you diplomatic immunity and why it works in less than 10 minutes. There are two systems in operation, and it's significantly important to understand how these two systems operate and how you need to take control of the public system, which is running in parallel to the private system. The private system is you as a living, breathing man or woman, and this is the expression and energy of consciousness. And that's who you really are. But shortly after you came into this world, what happened was the registration of a birth certificate event happened, and that created a public corporate citizen. And it is that public corporate citizen that you are at the moment representing as its agent. And you've been tricked and deceived into representing the public corporate citizen as its agent in fraud, and I'll explain more about that as we go through the video. So of significant importance are these two systems, and on the remainder of this video I'm going to show you why taking control of the public corporate citizenship and then swearing or pledging allegiance to the Republic of Old Souls and becoming a diplomat is going to give you your freedom. Everything we are doing in this world of commerce is like playing a game of Monopoly. The public citizen is like the shoe, it's like the dog, it's like the hat, it's like the car is going round and round this Monopoly board, and it looks very, very real, but in reality the board is artificial and so is everything on it. We don't have any ownership of anything, there is no money as substance, there is only credit, and everything that's going on this Monopoly board is artificial. Now what's really happening here is that you've been tricked and deceived to see the board as if it was you, but it is not you. You're not on the board. You are off the board as a living, breathing, conscious man or woman. And they've tricked and deceived you to play on the board. But you can turn this to your advantage by taking control of the Monopoly board. It all begins, the deception all begins with the creation of the birth certificate. And I say the birth certificate because it isn't you. The name on the birth certificate is not you. What's going on here is that you've been tricked and deceived to use the birth certificate as if it were you. And it's so significant. And what you can do with the I am free process, and I'm going to talk about it a little bit more in later slides, is basically you use the corporate citizenship to your advantage by taking control of it. Now just a couple of things on this birth certificate. On the bottom left hand side it says do not use this certificate as a form of identification, and the reason why is because it is not you, but they've got you to use it as if it were you, and every time you use the name on the birth certificate, the family name, the surname, you are perpetrating an identity fraud, and that takes away all of your rights as a living man and woman. And I'll explain more about that on other videos I've done. So the big problem here is the surname. The surname on the birth certificate is the problem. That name is a trade name of the Crown. It is their trade name. And all the time you are using it, you are basically in fraud. You're operating under a name impersonation fraud, and that is what takes away all the rights. The problem with the name is it's not yours, and it may sound very difficult to get your comprehension, get your head round, but basically the family name, the surname, is a Crown Corporation trade name, and it is not you. The passport, the driving licence, the bank card, they all look very convincing. They all have that name in them or on them, and that name is not you. It's what is known in the public and private realms as the ens legis. The ens legis is the public corporate citizen, and it is not you. And you are not a commoner. Of significant importance is the fact that when you voted, if you ever voted for any politician in any local or national government election, you basically said by your vote that you are not capable of running your own affairs, that you need to be turned. You need to be represented by a politician in Parliament, that you have become one of the politic, you are a member of the politic, which is a corporate estate and you are you want to be treated as a commoner right down the bottom of the pyramid of power, which we'll come back to in a moment. And this is what it is. Right down the bottom of the pyramid of power is the commoner, is the electorate, is the taxpayer, it's in the third estate. And that's where they've got you. Every time you use the name on the birth certificate, the family name, the surname, you are perpetrating a fraud, and they're going to treat you as a third-class citizen. And they're also going to treat you as a commoner because you voted or you're on the electoral roll and you're using the state's privileges. And all the time you're doing that, you are operating as a citizen of the state with no rights whatsoever. And they confirm this to you in the coronation oath, and the judges will confirm it to you by telling you that if you operate as a citizen, as a person, and a person is a corporation, they won't respect you. They are going to treat you as their chattel property with no rights, only the privilege to go round and round that monopoly board. And they're also going to treat you as a taxpayer, which is of significant importance. But there is a way out of it, and that is to operate as one of the people. Now, to go back on this, you are an expression of consciousness, a living, breathing being. You do not have a date of birth. You do not have an address. And the name that you should be using is the first name and maybe the second name, but never the surname. Using that surname is what puts you into fraud. You don't have an address because the address is the address of the registered citizen. It's like a corporate registered address. You don't have a date of birth because the date of birth applies to the registration date of the citizen, of that corporate citizen. And you are not a commoner, and you need to rescind any votes that you've ever given because you don't want to be treated as a commoner. You want to be treated as one of the people. And this is where you should be. You should be here. You should be here. You should be here as one of the people. You are just underneath God. You're an expression of consciousness. In this pyramid of power, you should be in this rightful position as one of the people, above the crown, above the monarch, above the government, above all the corporations. That's where you should really be. And you can get there by serving the I am free notices. When you serve the I am free notices, you become the general executor of the decedent estate. What is that? The decedent estate is the estate of the person, the citizenship. It is a dead corporation. And because it is dead, it operates in probate, and you can become the general executor of that decedent estate by serving your I am free notices. And you can then establish your own probate court, and you can serve all of your I am free notices from your probate court. And your court is above the international courts. It's above the Supreme Courts. It's above the High Courts. It's above all the administrative courts, Crown Courts, County Courts, Magistrates Courts, etc. What do the I am free notices do? Well, basically they do 5 things. First of all, they correct your status. You go from being a person to one of the people. They void all of the pre-existing what's called adhesion contracts and all other contracts, because the use of the surname on any contract or any act or statute is a fraud. So if you wipe all that away, because you're no longer using that surname, that family name, and you've rescinded using it, you've atoned, you've said that you've just realised it's all a fraud, and you've wiped out using that name, you've wiped the slate clean, and all of those contracts, mortgages, loans, credit cards, taxes, acts, statutes, everything that ever went before it is all being wiped out because you have rescinded the name. You've also going to rebut all the presumptions of the Crown, the State, the bar guilds. This is where the judges and lawyers presume that you've accepted all the acts and statutes. You rebut all of that with your notices. You then rescind the fact that you voted and you don't want to be a commoner. Your notices will rebut that and rescind that you are not a commoner, you are one of the people. You're going to revest the estate under the Sesquier-Vevey Act of 1666 and 1707. You are entitled to a share of all the land and wealth on the land under the Sesquivet Act of 1666 and 1707, you can make a declaration that you are alive. You're not to be considered and presumed lost and dead at sea. No, you've come back, you are alive. And because you've come back and you are alive, you are the rightful general executor of the decedent estate, of the person, of the citizenship. And as the general executor, you can establish diplomatic immunity. How? Because you can become a national of the Republic of Old Souls. Now, what is a nation? Basically, a nation is a body politic. It is a group of men or women that come together with a common aim and a common goal and an ideology, and that is what the Republic of Old Souls is. And under the Montevideo Convention, Article 3 of that 1933 Montevideo Convention, the nation has been established under that convention, the Republic of Old Souls nation. What is nationality? Basically, nationality is pledging an allegiance. You are part of the group. You are part of the community. You are living as an ambassador of the Republic of Old Souls, and you have pledged your allegiance to the ideology of the Republic of Old Souls, and that gives you nationality. And you are entitled to it under Article 15 of the United Nations Universal Declaration on Human Rights. What is diplomatic immunity? Basically, it's very, very simple. Diplomatic immunity is a principle of international law. Remember, you're operating from an international court, the probate court. You are the general executor already if you served your iron-free notices. What you're also going to become is a diplomat. And you're going to be operating a diplomatic mission, and because you're operating a diplomatic mission, you are immune from the laws of the receiving state. So whichever country or state that you're operating in, you're operating in that state under the law of the Republic of Old Souls as a diplomat. And that is what diplomatic immunity is. You're not subject to the law of the state, the country that you are operating in. No, you are subject to the law of the state that you originate from, which is, of course, the Republic of Old Souls. So in order to get that status, you have to be on a diplomatic mission. And what is your diplomatic mission for the Republic of Old Souls? It's basically to operate as one of the people, as the general executor of the decedent citizen, that decedent person. And it's also to introduce others to the Republic of Old Souls as nationals. That is your mission. As a diplomat, wherever you go, you should be looking to introduce other nationals, because the Republic of Old Souls has a freedom program, and that's why you joined, and that's why you want others to join, so that we can get the Republic of Old Souls to a substantial size, and therefore it becomes even more powerful as an international nation in its own right. The Article 31 of the Montevideo Convention 1933 is very, very significant, because under Article 31 of the Montevideo Convention 1933, a diplomat shall enjoy immunity from the criminal jurisdiction of the receiving state. Basically, you're not in their jurisdiction and there's nothing they can do. Acts, statutes, even criminal actions can't be prosecuted in the receiving state, because you are operating under the law of the Republic of Old Souls. Your car, your property that you're operating in, if it's a consulate, is basically the territory of the Republic of Old Souls, and that's why you can't be prosecuted under the receiving state's Act statutes. Now, of course, you can be expelled as a diplomat from the Republic of Old Souls, so you can't go around harming others, remember, because that's part of your pledge of allegiance, is to not harm others. The Vienna Convention 1961 basically is ratifying the fact that a diplomat has rights to operate on a diplomatic mission in a receiving state. And it is basically that the diplomatic mission is very, very key. So you become what's known as an ambassador at large for the Republic of Old Souls. And because you're operating as a diplomat under the Republic of Old Souls law, you can't be prosecuted, and that's what the Vienna Convention 1961 is all about. So remember, not only are you one of the people after you've served your I am free notices, you are a queen, you are a king, you are the general executor of the citizenship. You've taken control of it. You can still play on that monopoly board, but you take control. And you've also pledged allegiance to the Republic of Old Souls. You've become an ambassador for what the Republic of Old Souls stands for, and you are under the law of the Republic of Old Souls, which is to harm no one and to operate on the private side of the ledger and to spread the word. And because you're doing all that, you are operating under the law of the Republic of Old Souls. You're not operating under the law of the receiving country or state, which is this country or state that you're operating in. I hope you've enjoyed the video.